Hello, and are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? Yes, it's your favourite Saturday news team, the only Saturday news team of Phil and Gareth. And SmackDown was last night, and Vince McMahon was on it.
He was, yeah. You set us up quite far there, mate. I was like, oh, no, yeah, yes, we are. Yeah, it was a weird old SmackDown, man. A lot of things happened on the show in general. It wasn't a jam-packed like blockbuster show by any means, but you had a few Money in the Bank qualifiers. You had Miz and Morrison. They had a shock upset, which was a bit fun. Sheamus squashed somebody again, and then he started intimidating Michael Cole because that's a new thing.
Yeah, I should say as well, in the Miz Morrison match, Miz tried to do a kip up, failed, and then Jon Morrison just started laughing at him.
I loved it. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yeah, I literally saw it. I was just like, I don't think we were supposed to see that. That was a shame. Jeff Hardy obviously had his redemption little documentary thing. That's going to conclude next week as well. We had the Strowman Wyatt package segment thing, which was quite interesting. You had a women's tag title match as well, which was quite good. It was quite quick.
At the end.
And at the end, sorry, there's so much stuff. I just wanted to get it all out of the way. But then, oh my goodness. Triple H obviously came to the ring. It was his big celebration night. That was the big thing we've been going towards this all week. And Shawn Michaels came out. They had a bit of a chat. And Shawn Michaels had loads of highlight footage. But it was just mocking Triple H, really. Because they're buddies. That's what they can do. Buddies can take them, make out of each other.
Showing how many times he lost at WrestleMania and things like that.
And he was like, I am Mr. WrestleMania, so I know an awful lot about performing on the big stage, and I'll just show how badly you did there. So that was quite good.
Yeah.
And then Vince McMahon came out, and he's had a rough couple of weeks. Obviously, do a lot of his own doing, really. But he came out and he started talking a lot of weird stuff. He mentioned it's quite strange just reading off some of the things he mentioned in this weird little segment. But he came out and he said that he loved Triple H. But then he said, throughout his career, a lot of his segments pretty much have been boring. He said it in a weird, convoluted way, but he was saying that most people in the audience used to be shouting boring. Then he mentioned the gobbledygooker. He said he was boring, but it wasn't quite like gobbledygooker boring. He went on this big spiel about expecting a big reaction from the egg cracking open, but he just got nothing. He said you weren't quite that bad. You were more in the Katie Vick kind of sphere. And that suddenly my head fell off, my jaw hit the ground. I was like, what? In this week of all weeks? He did, oh, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's 2020 and Vince McMahon is talking about Katie Vick on SmackDown.
And the worst part was, he was saying, I couldn't believe you stooped so low. I was like, I'm pretty sure you told him to do it, Vince.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you wrote that, Vince.
Madness. So yeah, he went into bit too much detail on that. He didn't I don't know why that happened, but it did. And then he said, you're in that ballpark, but you're probably as bad as also the Bayley This Is Your Life segment, which obviously drew a bit of criticism a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he did say that wasn't Bayley's fault, though, which is something. And she has since tweeted it. She tweeted out the video clip on Twitter, obviously, just saying, thank you, Vince, it wasn't my fault. And then she did another tweet as well that's just, call me Gene Snitsky because it isn't my fault.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, yeah, that was the only vindication really in this segment. It was just a bit odd. And then he left. He walked off and Triple H was like, oh, you kicking us out? And then the lights went off. And it was like,
he said, shut it down, Pedro. Well, wrap it up, Pedro, sorry. And then went backstage and turned all the lights off. And then they played a sound of crickets, and you just heard Shawn Michaels say to Triple H, it's like the story of your career, mate.
Oh.
And then that was the end of SmackDown. It was so weird.
It was so apt, really, because that's how we felt through much of this crowdless era. The show ends and you just sit there a bit like, yeah, is that okay, cool.
I'm kind of glad they went this way with it, because as weird as that segment was, at least it wasn't just a, yay, Triple H is the best, this is amazing. It was more of a roast of Triple H kind of thing.
It kept threatening to be that, didn't it? That's what was quite good, because they kept saying, oh, you're the best, you're the game, you're this. But now we'll just crap on you. And it was
flipping on its head. And then they got Stephanie to call in, and Shawn was mocking her in the background, and then Stephanie called him a lazy-eyed something, and then Triple H quickly turned off the call. You saw bloody Road Dogg Jesse James's beard.
Big beard, loving a beard.
Massive beard. On top of his egg head. It's good luck. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, whole very weird segment. Don't understand.
It was, but it wasn't the only surprise-ish appearance that we had on SmackDown. Who else turned up on SmackDown, Phil?
Well, we had a debut, I guess, of Daniel Vidit, who, well, he got squashed by Sheamus. But in case you don't know who he is, he's an former Australian rugby player and he got signed in 2018, and he's kind of been on NXT a couple of times, but never really had a proper run on there, never been used that much. And then all of a sudden, here he is on SmackDown going up against Sheamus. He just tweeted out saying, when people tell you it can't be done, do it. SmackDown debut. So good for you, Daniel Vidit.
Love a bit of rugby appearance in the world of wrestling, the sport, and everything. Yeah, I'm a rugby man myself, so I was very, very happy with that. But also on this SmackDown, like I mentioned earlier, we had some Money in the Bank qualifiers that went down. Baron Corbin is now in the Money in the Bank, men's Money in the Bank, whatever it is, climb the corporate ladder match. He beat Drew Gulak thanks to a few shenanigans. And then you also had Lacey Evans beat Sasha Banks due to a bit of miscommunication between Sasha Banks and
continuing
Bayley.
the story between Sasha and Bayley.
I love it. We need this match. It's going to happen soon. Maybe SummerSlam. We never know. I'm just keeping the faith. We need something to hold on to at this stage. But then that's pretty much now confirmed that it has confirmed that there are 2 spots left in the men's. Well, one in the men's, one in the women's. There's going to be 2 matches on SmackDown next week to decide who gets those spots. So we're going to have Otis taking on Dolph Ziggler. That's going to be one of them. So again, that's helping prolong that feud as well. We're going to have a bit of story attached to that, which is quite good. And then we've also got Mandy Rose taking on Carmella. So I feel like that might edge towards maybe a bit of a Sonya Deville interference.
I think so. Sonya Deville did a tweet out afterwards saying, like, wow, of course Mandy got this over me. So I think there's definitely going to be some shenanigans in that one.
Really well played out, actually, if that's the way they're going to go with that she's still feeling like she's been hard done by. So far, the card for Money in the Bank reads as WWE Championship title match. We're going to have Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Then you've got the Universal title match, which is going to be Bray Wyatt, which is still looking like it's going to be just Bray, not the Fiend Bray, taking on Braun Strowman, who was the champ. Then we're going to have the SmackDown Women's title match, which is Bayley taking on... Who's she taking on, Phil?
Ain't nobody meaner than Tamina.
Thank you. Then we've also got the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which has got Apollo Crews, Aleister Black, Rey Mysterio, Daniel Bryan, King Corbin, and then either Otis or Dolph Ziggler. Then you got the women's Money in the Bank match, which is Nia Jax, Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and then either Carmella or Mandy Rose. They're shaping up to be pretty decent matches across the board, especially those Money in the Bank ladder matches.
I'm looking forward to this pay-per-view just for those Money in the Bank ladder matches because they're going to be ridiculous and I'm going to love every second of them.
Oh, big time. I feel like I want Otis to be in that Money in the Bank match, but it's looking quite babyface heavy at this point, so I think they might actually put Ziggler in, which is really upsetting.
Yeah, unfortunately. Anyway, moving on from the mentalness that was SmackDown, we've got a bit of news about Gallows and Anderson. You may be wondering, they've been doing lots and lots of tweets and little teasers about them possibly going back to New Japan, but they haven't actually signed yet. Now, reports come from the Wrestling Observer just saying that there's been no official offer from New Japan Pro Wrestling, but under normal circumstances, they 100% would have made them an offer, but it's because of the whole global situation dealio. That they haven't made an offer yet, and they'll probably won't make an offer until everything gets a little bit more back to normal. So for now, Gallows and Anderson are free agents, but I would fully expect them to be popping up in New Japan at some point soon.
Yeah, definitely. They've like you said, they've alluded to it a lot of times on social media since this release. It's only been a week and a half, 2 weeks. But yeah, it's that makes sense for them. They could pop up in something like AEW, and they could do quite well there, but I feel like...
you never know. You've got to assume, though, if AEW are picking up any tag team, it's going to be the Revival.
yeah, I think that's all but guaranteed at this point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, we'll just see what happens. Again, there's a lot of this.
Speaking of the Revival, have you seen that new T-shirt they've put out with their drawings of their new characters from WWE, but on a Revival T-shirt, or Revolt T-shirt, I should say, sorry.
I've not seen that. I might have to go and invest in that, actually. That's the big hats and the clown costumes, pretty much. Yeah, that was good. Right, so the next piece of news got from obviously outside of the world of WWE again is Zack Sabre Jr. has said that he wants to face AEW champion Jon Moxley in a match, but he doesn't want to just face him anyway. He wants to face him at Wrestle Dynasty, which is obviously in New York. He said this in an interview with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Obviously, Zack is part of the Suzuki Gun team in New Japan, and Moxley beat obviously the leader of that group, Minoru Suzuki, at the New Beginning in Osaka pay-per-view.
Good match.
Yeah, exactly, great match. So obviously he wants some retribution for his team. He said that I don't think anyone would be better than being US I don't think anything, would be better than being US champion at Wrestle Dynasty, and how upset American wrestling fans would be. I think as well, Moxley was coming after my group. I didn't want to wait for him to come to me. I wanted to jump in. And then he later went on to say, obviously, because Moxley's, I wouldn't say he's got a reputation for it, but he likes his hardcore matches, likes his brutal, just weapons, everything else, like the really blood and gut stuff, for want of a better term. So he referenced this. He said, I can appreciate that fans would be excited about that, the potential of that kind of match, but I'm excited about that, but you don't know which way it's going to go. He's been having these hardcore rules with everyone, and that isn't going to work with me. You can keep the furniture under the ring. I wouldn't be chasing after him if I didn't think I could win. I can win. It won't be easy, but I can win. I quite like the setup for this, because he's obviously this technical master wizard, really, in the ring, and he's a no-nonsense sort of wrestler. He's just not going to go into there and say, oh, yeah, let's have a barbed wire, steel cage, hell on earth match. He just wants wants to show that he's technically more proficient than Moxley and just a better wrestler than Moxley, and embarrass him in that way. So it'd be interesting if he uses that as bait to say to Moxley, come on, I'll fight you, but let's fight in a wrestling match and see if you can prove how good a wrestler you are. So I'd be interested in that. Yeah,
there's loads of ways this can go. Big fan of Zack Sabre Jr. Really nice guy, as well as an absolutely incredible wrestler. But he, just to have that sort of complete opposite sides of the wrestling spectrum of pure technical wizardry and just smash mouth brawling kind of thing, it's just a really interesting team up. And especially if it somehow did become a hardcore style match as well, if it was then just the story of Zack Sabre Jr. wrestling Moxley out of being able to physically get the weapons, if you know what I mean. So he's physically keeping him in the ring, stretching him whatever way he can until the moment that Moxley finally gets that chair or whatever. There's a lot of different ways they can go with that, and I'd be very into seeing that.
Definitely, I think they should book it exactly how you just said it, Phil. And if they don't, it'll be a poor second best alternative, which I'm not into. So yeah.
Bit of news about EC3, or should I call him Essential Character 3?
You should.
If you haven't seen his reboot on Twitter, go check out all the videos he's been putting up. They're very strange. He's taken this release from WWE in a very different way to every single other person that's been released, and he's just taken it as an opportunity to completely revamp his character and change it up, and using the release as the catalyst for this new character as well, integrating them two together really, really well. But he's launched a new website called freeec3.com, and if you go to it, it's just the Free EC3 logo with a post-apocalyptic Armageddon style background and a countdown to the moment when he is free. And at the moment, the countdown is at 79 days, 18 hours, 20 minutes and 6 seconds as we speak, until EC3 can wrestle again. But he also put out a tweet recently. He just said on the tweet, I trained legs so hard today I saw God. His eyes were aflame with fire. On his head were many crowns. He was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. I was left with a revelation. And then he put, only an asshole would wear their own merchandise while they worked out. But the more interesting thing about this tweet was he put a little video of him doing weights, and in the background he was playing Jericho's Fuzzy Judas theme. So is that a little hint at where we might see EC3 or Essential Character 3 end up?
It could be, because I remember they had a bit of an exchange a couple of months back at a concert or something. So they're on talking terms, him and Jericho. And I think it's really interesting that he's doing this countdown, obviously because Jericho is probably synonymous with that big countdown reveal when he debuted on WWE. So it'd be quite interesting if there was a weird, I don't know, not exactly an imitation of that, but a callback to that in a sense. It was just, He looked absolutely hench in the video of him working out, by the way, with that Judas on the background. I was just like, dude, wherever this guy lands, he's just going to be a star. How did it not work? He's just, look at him. Monster.
Yeah, I wonder whether this character is something that he's pitched to WWE, but they were like, nah, I don't get it kind of thing. And now he's free. He's like, yeah, I'm going to show you that it bloody works. Or whether this is just something he's completely come up with fresh after being released. Who knows? But he's going all in with it, and I like it.
Yeah, exactly. All in. Very nice. Very well done.
What else have we got? Have we got anything else?
I think that's us. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, I think that's everything we've got today. So
there it is.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is just Vince McMahon has officially lost it. So.
Yeah, talking about Katie Vick on TV.
Madness. What a time.
Why? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you want, you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at FillMyChambers, and you can follow Gareth
at GMorgan04.
and you can follow everyone at WhatCulture at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure to subscribe to the channel on YouTube, like the video, comment down below what you think of all of today's news stories. But most importantly, stay safe and have yourselves a bloody good day, everyone.
See you later.